How do you sum it up?
It's pretty simple. And like again, you're never as good as you think you are, and you're never as bad as you think you are. We're probably not as good as what we were on Sunday, and we're probably not as bad as what we were tonight. But I mean, the same kind of things we were preaching in game one and again tonight. If they're going to dare us to make open threes and we're going to miss, and then getting them off the glass, they had 5 offensive rebounds at half time, but for 13 points. Well, that's actually physically not possible, almost. Like to go over 2 points per possession on offensive rebounds. And they still finished over 2. They have 10 offensive rebounds for 22 points. Like, just what? So that kills you, and then we go 3 of 27 from 3. So we can talk about whatever else, and I'm sure you've got a million other questions. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about, and there's probably some that are right, some that are wrong. But if we're going to go 3 of 27 from 3, and they're going to score 22 points on 10-0 boards, well, that's the end of the game. It's like the rest of it are all 1%ers, but those two are 2 49%ers.
That was the clear. Like you can put the ball in the hole, mate. Yeah. Every time they picked up, they did put the ball in the hole. So it must have been doing your head in.
Yes and no. Like if you've done this long enough, and you deep dive the analytics like we do, like you're just going to get games like these, and they suck. And everyone, as soon as you have one, everyone's like, "Oh, I just should shoot layups all the time." But in fairness, if Melbourne are going to pack it in and dare our average shooters to make threes, and we can't make one, then like it's hard to get your head on the rim. So obviously they've got a massive size advantage on us, and they helped off our non-shooters or even our shooters. At some point, you guys need to be able to make shots.
So how do you handle this from a talking to them perspective? Do you give it to them, or do you say, well, we could have done a hell of a lot better if this had worked and this had worked? What's your approach?
So we never speak to them too. We go the Chris Scott Geelong model of we don't talk to them too much post-game because it's raw and it's emotional, and you say something stupid. You go back and watch it, and then if you want to rip them in 2 days' time, different story. The simple message will be like, hey, like we need some people who actually are quality shooters to make shots, to open the floor up, and then we've got to get some people off the glass. Again, going back to the whole card counters of the blackjack table, every now and then the dealer's going to get 21. You can have the greatest strategy of all time. Every now and then the dealer's going to beat you. So we have 2 or 3 games, you've been doing this for a while, we get 2 or 3 games like this a year, and they always suck. And everyone immediately is always tear it down. And then we come out and play like we did in Melbourne on the weekend, and everyone thinks it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. So as I said from the start, we don't get too high with the wins, we don't get too low with the losses. We've got things to fix, absolutely, but we're not going to get too low on ourselves.
So their confidence will probably be hit by that, though. So how do you get them back up for what you have a really tight schedule with games back to back?
Yeah. So well, again, we just same thing I'm telling you. Like we preach to them. Like post-game Melbourne, like, hey, great win, but let's not get too excited with it. Like it's 1 win. Like the same as tonight, it sucks, but let's not get too low with it. It's 1 loss. So like as bad as we were playing, and we weren't great, we're down 4 at half time, we're down 8 at 3/4 time. So like they're the championship favourites, or one of the top 2 teams in the competition. They're 6-1 for a reason. And yet we beat them in Melbourne, and we're down 8, playing pretty poorly at 3/4 time. So again, don't get too low with the losses.
Great. Thank you.